Hey there, my name is Shawn Carnes, and currently I'm a Young Life leader here in Snoqualmie Valley, and I've been a wildlife leader and Young Life leader for the past 7 years. It's been amazing to walk alongside kids and see them find an authentic faith in Jesus over those years. See the ministry of Young Life, which outreaches high school kids, and Wildlife, which outreaches middle school kids, has existed here in the Valley for about 9 years. During that time, the ministry exists to reach out to kids, build authentic relationships with them, meet them where they're at, and ultimately point them towards Jesus to find a true faith in Him. We do that through connecting with kids where they're at. We meet them where they're at, and we invite them to clubs. We invite them to small group Bible studies. And at the end of the year, we invite them to come to camp with us to experience the best week of their lives. The best part of Young Life is after camp, those same leaders get to go home with those kids and continue building relationships with them. We've also been able to partner with other churches here in the Valley to put on a student-led faith-based club at Mount Si High School called Connections. We've been able to roll into Mount Si every week with 30 pizzas and hand them out to kids and ask them how they're doing and how their faith is and help them grow in their relationship with Jesus. I'm excited to actually hear from some of these kids this week and hear some of their stories.
Yeah, I think Young Life in high school really gave me like a foundation of what it looks like to follow Jesus. And I guess like with the leaders that like you guys, Shawn and Michelle, did a really good job of like exemplifying what it means to follow Jesus and what it means to pursue Jesus. And I think it also really showed me that we're not meant to do life alone and not meant to go through life alone and do the hard things alone. So like it showed me that there's people around me that care about me and that want me to grow.
And I thought that Young Life was a great constant in my life. And I think that really reflected on the way that I saw God was a constant in my life. And I never really got that lesson. And I think just the way that Young Life operated, everybody goes through, highs and lows in high school. And for me, Young Life in the ministry was just a constant in my life. And I think I reflected that lesson in my relationship with God. And I think that sort of built a great foundation for me as I've continued my faith.
What really helped me personally was how I had a bunch of friends a bunch of really close friends through Young Life who I wasn't having to go alone through my walk with Christ, and it made it easier for me rather than being with another group of friends who turned away from the Lord, didn't follow Him. So it was like easily harder, like to talk about that with them, but having a group of friends who I could talk about it and walk with them made it a lot easier on me because I'd see them every time at Young Life.
And like fostering a place of that you are welcome to come from no matter where you've come from and you belong. And probably the best thing in terms of my faith, or in terms of like how my faith grew at Young Life was just that I have always been a very like inquisitive person. I like to ask big, deep questions. And I know I've had some of the best faith talks in my life, just with different leaders and different peers in the Young Life setting. And those are conversations that I'll never forget that have just immensely helped my faith to grow.
How did Young Life affect my faith back in high school and in middle school would be that it transformed my relationship with the Lord into one that was through my parents into one of my own.
And then when I went into high school and started doing Young Life, I kind of saw like that's something that I want for myself, and that's like I want to pursue my faith and not just because that's what my parents are doing. And so it really made me want that for myself and like want to grow closer to Jesus in that.
getting plugged in with Young Life College over here has been awesome. And then to be able to join the leadership team and to help I've had opportunities to lead small groups and that sort of thing, and just really diving deeper with a really strong community over here.
Like when Curtis told me that, he's like, there's some people who will seek Christ, and I see that in you. I just think back to that, and it constantly reminds me to just, you're not in this alone. Like, it'll be busy. Like, the Lord's walking with you right now. So that's helped me where I'm at right now.
With my personal faith, I think the biggest thing is just spending time with God and keeping that relationship firm and growing. And so I think like one of the biggest things, I try to spend time with God every day, like reading, worshiping, stuff like that. And so it's been really cool growing my faith the last couple of years.
Yeah, just that sentiment that we're not meant to do life alone, and just that I'm surrounded by other believers in Christ and just people that want to come to know the Lord better. That's only been positive for me, and it's only just been able to help me grow in my faith as well.
Those decisions in the past really have impacted me on where I am today and how I'm going through secondary education. And I'm so happy that every other person that I meet is just all in for God, and that's put me on a trajectory towards, I don't know exactly where, but I'm optimistic of where I'm headed in life.
The whole goal for us is to help kids grow in their faith, walk alongside them, and point them towards Jesus. So knowing that these kids have taken their faith with them into college and into the future, it's been a huge blessing for me.